My VP's office was given to the new intern, Evelyn Miller, by my husband, Liam Davies. Evelyn Miller posted office photos on social media with the caption, "Thank you, Mr. Davies, for your trust and guidance. I will work hard to live up to this expectation." Later, my assistant sent me a screenshot. In the photo, the office layout had been completely changed, and all my awards were gone. I immediately forwarded it to Liam Davies. "Mr. Davies, what is the meaning of this? Why is my private office occupied by an intern?" Liam Davies replied with a voice message, sounding tipsy, "Sweetheart, it's just an office. You're not using it anyway. I want to see the office restored to its original state within 10 minutes. Liam Davies didn't reply. 2 minutes later, Davies Corp's most important contract was forcibly terminated. Since someone wanted to challenge authority, I didn't mind letting Davies Corporation go bankrupt. Liam Davies's calls came one after another, incessantly, until the 5th call when I finally answered. A furious roar came through the phone receiver. "Sarah Reed, are you insane? That's a project worth $200 million, you know the product launch event is next week. Stopping it now will destroy the company. Is an office really worth all this?" 5 years into our marriage, this was the first time he had ever lost his temper with me over another woman. I sipped a warm herbal tea, feeling the warmth slide down my throat, but my heart felt a chill. "Yes, it is, Liam Davies, restore the office to its original state immediately, including all my metals. Not one item can be out of place, or the company will incur even greater losses." On the other end of the phone, Liam Davies was silent for a few seconds. "Now, you have 5 minutes. I said coldly, then hung up the phone. 2 minutes later, he sent me photos of the restored office. Everything was back in its original place. Upon receiving the photos, I immediately contacted the previous project manager and rescinded the termination order. Then, I sent Liam Davies another photo. In the photo, everything in his study had been cleared out, including his favorite antique, which he had just acquired at auction for a considerable sum. Attached was another photo of the antique scattered in pieces on the floor. "Liam Davies, this is your punishment. You know my temper. Don't let it happen again." Or rather, it was anger. This marriage, from the beginning, was not about love but stemmed from the strategic alliance needs of two companies. 5 years ago, he needed Reed Holdings channels in international markets, and I needed Davies Corp's production base in China. A strategic alliance marriage was a natural progression. There was no passionate romance, only mutually beneficial cooperation chosen rationally. "Sarah, we will not only support each other in business, but after marriage, I will also trust and respect you." Before the wedding, Liam Davies held my hand, his gaze firm and sincere. "Mr. Davies's candor is something I appreciate. I hope our collaboration is fruitful." I smiled back in response. For 5 years, we went from strangers to familiar, from respect to reliance, and then the blossoming of warmth and affection. We shared countless nights, leaning on each other after business events. This year, we finally had a baby. This was the best testament to our love, and it made me believe our relationship was unbreakable. But now, Evelyn Miller's appearance shattered all the unspoken understandings and trust we had built. Liam Davies didn't come home that night. I knew he was expressing his displeasure in this way. The next day, I entrusted my son to the nanny and went directly to the company. The corporate employees looked surprised to see me, then quickly bowed their heads in greeting. "Ms. Reed, your postpartum recovery period isn't over yet. Why are you already at the company?" A young receptionist stepped forward, asking with concern to check on the company's current situation. With that, I headed straight for the executive floor. But the moment the elevator doors opened, I heard laughter coming from Liam Davies's office. Through the half-open door, I saw Evelyn Miller sitting beside him. Liam Davies had a smiling expression, completely unlike the usual cold demeanor he showed towards other executive assistants. Normally, he would never allow anyone but me to sit for long in his office, nor would he ever show such a tender expression. But now, he and Evelyn Miller were so close there was almost no space between them, conversing happily. Evelyn Miller was wearing a designer suit. It was a style I had seen before and that Liam Davies had promised to buy for me. This outfit was not only expensive but also a limited edition. There were only 5 sets worldwide. Yet now, it was being worn by an intern. I pushed the door open, and their laughter abruptly ceased. Liam Davies's smile instantly froze on his face. "Why are you here?" Evelyn Miller quickly stood up, putting on a respectful expression, and greeted me in a sweet voice. "Mrs. Davies, hello. I heard you just had a baby. Everyone says your figure changes a lot after giving birth, but you've recovered so well. I scoffed and retorted, is my figure something for you to comment on? Who was blind enough to hire such a disrespectful person? Evelyn Miller's smile instantly froze, and she nervously fiddled with her fingers, looking flustered. Immediately, take off the clothes you're wearing. The atmosphere in the office instantly dropped to freezing point. Evelyn Miller's eyes widened, and her lips trembled. She looked utterly incredulous. She looked pleadingly at Liam Davies, like a frightened deer, tears welling in her eyes. I also turned to Liam Davies, my eyes like ice. Explain, why is my dress on her? Liam Davies frowned, impatient. Because of the office incident yesterday, Evelyn Miller was discussed by many colleagues, so I gave her a small compensation. It's just a dress. I'll get you a better one later. Compensation? I sneered. This dress might not be much to us, but what is Evelyn Miller's status that she deserves to wear it? Besides, yesterday's incident was her own fault for not knowing her place. Liam Davies, have you forgotten your own identity? Forgotten who I am? Who gave you the right to give away my belongings so casually? After my tirade, Evelyn Miller turned pale with fright, tears welling up as she stammered an explanation. I'm sorry, Mrs. Davies. I didn't know this outfit was yours. Now you know, so take it off immediately. Seeing me interrupt Evelyn Miller and persist, Liam Davies became agitated. Sarah Reed, don't go too far. We have a project to discuss. Don't make a scene here. My heart sank. He had never raised his voice at me in the office before, but now he was breaking his own rules for Evelyn Miller. Evelyn Miller, seeing Liam Davies stand up for her, quietly breathed a sigh of relief. Project? Which project? I asked. The Alpha Group collaboration. Secretary Miller and I are about to leave. Liam Davies tugged at his tie, his tone even more impatient. Secretary Miller has been a great help in this matter, so I'm bringing her along for the discussion. I raised an eyebrow and smirked sarcastically. Oh? How is it that I didn't know an intern had such great capabilities, enough to influence a listed company's decisions? Liam Davies's face darkened. He picked up his briefcase and motioned for Evelyn Miller to follow. Let's go. Don't waste time. As they brushed past me, Evelyn Miller gave me a triumphant smile, her eyes full of provocation. Liam Davies, you brought this upon yourself. Since you insist on defending Evelyn Miller, don't blame me for being ruthless. After they left, I pulled out my phone and dialed Mr. Thompson, Alpha Group's chairman's private number. Mr. Thompson, this is Sarah Reed, regard. The collaboration Liam Davies is supposed to discuss today. An hour later, I received a call from Liam Davies. He was furious, his voice almost roaring. Sarah Reed, what exactly are you trying to do? Mr. Thompson not only publicly humiliated Evelyn Miller, calling her a mistress and a woman who got ahead by using her body, he also said that Reed Holdings was built by you, and that I'm ungrateful and foolish for finding another woman while you're on postpartum recovery leave. You orchestrated all this, didn't you? I chuckled lightly. Liam Davies, I can't control other people's thoughts or mouths. Whether it's right or wrong, people have eyes and will judge for themselves. Evelyn Miller left crying, and the collaboration fell through. Are you satisfied? Satisfied? I'm extremely satisfied. You both got what you deserved. After hanging up, the anger in my heart subsided slightly. Later, I received a message from my assistant, saying that Evelyn Miller's incident had spread throughout the company. When she returned to the company, colleagues pointed and whispered about her. Some even openly called her arrogant, deceitful, and lacking in talent, claiming she used dirty tricks to get ahead. Everything on her desk had been thrown into the trash can. Even though she cried, saying she wasn't that kind of person and they shouldn't treat her like that. But no one in the company listened to her explanations. Who would risk offending a VP for an intern? Everyone was piling on her. I had seen this kind of thing too many times. Evelyn Miller was getting her just deserts. An intern with no background and no real abilities, thinking she could rise to the top just because of a little attention from Liam Davies. It was laughable. Evelyn Miller submitted her resignation letter in shame and anger. Since she hadn't officially started, the HR department approved it immediately without a second thought. Evelyn Miller's current situation was entirely her own fault for being presumptuous and coveting a position and a man that weren't hers. After his meeting with Alpha Group, Liam Davies had finally managed to pacify them. But when he returned, he found that Evelyn Miller had already left the company, and his face was utterly black. When he came home that evening, I was humming a lullaby to our son. The little guy's cheeks were chubby, and his nose and eyes were just like Liam Davies's. He stood at the nursery doorway, his face terribly dark, but he deliberately lowered his voice. Evelyn Miller didn't do anything wrong. She's just a hardworking girl, and now because of you, she's not only lost her job but her reputation is ruined. Sarah Reed, there's a limit to your diva-like tantrums. I motioned for him to be quiet, gently putting down the sleeping child. After stepping out of the room and closing the door, I finally spoke. Liam Davies, I'm going to say this again, Evelyn Miller being bullied and resigning were not orchestrated by me. Even though I had told myself it didn't matter, the anger and distress in Liam Davies's eyes still made my heart ache. Honestly, how many times have you broken your rules for Evelyn Miller? It was your tacit approval, your indulgence, that gave her ideas above her station. Evelyn Miller and I are completely innocent. Liam Davies retorted agitatedly. Innocent? Would you give her things that originally belonged to me? Would you let her move into your office? I said coldly. Don't forget, the last executive assistant wasn't even allowed to have a temporary chair in your office for a brief report. Now, you frequently break your rules for Evelyn Miller. And even for her sake, you're glaring at me, your wife who just gave birth to your child. I slightly raised my chin, staring directly into Liam Davies's eyes, enunciating each word. Liam Davies, I admit, I love you, otherwise I wouldn't have married you and had your child, but you also know that I don't tolerate any deceit or betrayal. I don't overlook even the slightest speck of dust in my eye. If you dare cross that line, even if it's just a spiritual wandering or an ambiguous relationship, I won't hesitate to find a different father for our child. Liam Davies's face was ashen. He turned and strode towards the guest room. But I knew this matter was over. After he adjusted his mindset in the guest room, we would make up and move past it the next day. This was the unspoken understanding we had developed over 5 years of marriage. However, previous conflicts had always been about business or family matters. This was the first time, and it would be the last, that a conflict arose over romantic involvement. Early the next morning, Liam Davies's phone rang. Evelyn Miller's name appeared on the screen. He hesitated for a moment, then answered the call. Evelyn Miller's sobs came through the phone, choked with emotion. Mr. Davies, I really don't know what to do anymore. Don't cry. Tell me slowly, what happened? Liam Davies frowned, responding with a gentle voice. I'm being cyberbullied. My photos are everywhere online, everyone's insulting me, calling me a mistress, saying I seduced a married man. I'm so scared, I don't dare to go out now. Boo-hoo-hoo. Evelyn Miller's voice trembled, filled with fear and helplessness, her sobs growing louder. Liam Davies's face became extremely grim, and he looked at me with fire in his eyes. Don't panic. Stay at home and don't move. I'll handle it right away. The news of Evelyn Miller offending me had already spread in our circle. Even if I didn't orchestrate it, those business partners would actively do these things to curry favor with me. I had also checked the online situation that morning. It wasn't as serious as Evelyn Miller claimed on the phone. But it must be said, she successfully stirred Liam Davies's protective instincts by leveraging her image as a delicate, helpless woman. Liam Davies's rage erupted immediately after he hung up the phone. He slammed his phone hard on the table, eyes red, and demanded of me, Sarah Reed, what exactly do you want? Evelyn Miller has already left the company, left us. Why are you still targeting her? How did you become so malicious? Abusing your position as the CEO's wife and wielding power arbitrarily. I slammed my bowl onto the table as well, not giving an inch. Liam Davies, I told you, I didn't do anything. Everyone in the company knows she offended you. Who else would do something like this besides you? Liam Davies's tone was accusatory. Liam Davies, in all these years, when have you ever seen me deny something I've done? You keep questioning me for an intern again and again. I think she's completely bewitched you. I sneered, retorting without backing down. Liam Davies's face was livid. He stormed off, slamming the door shut. The sound echoed through the mansion, making my heart tremble. At that moment, I was utterly disappointed in him. Our 5-year marriage, a bond one once thought unbreakable, was now showing such a huge crack, even teetering on the brink, all because of a woman who had only been around for half a month. I sat on the sofa, my anger and disappointment intertwining. The glass in my hand was shattered with a fierce squeeze, blood dripping from my palm. I forced myself to calm down. Since he insisted on siding with Evelyn Miller, then he couldn't blame me for being ruthless. Liam Davies, you will pay for what you've done today. After making my decision, I picked up my phone and dialed my personal lawyer, David Lee. Mr. Lee, I need you to immediately prepare a divorce agreement, ensuring a clear division of assets. Not a single cent less. David Lee on the other end of the line was shocked by my sudden decision, cautiously confirming, Ms. Reed, are you serious? Divorce is no small matter. Immediately, right away. I want to see the agreement within 3 days. My tone was firm and unequivocal. Understood, Ms. Reed. What about Mr. Davies's side? There's no need to inform him. This is my decision. After hanging up, I opened my computer and pulled up all business transaction documents related to Davies Corporation. Over 5 years of marriage, I had provided Davies Corporation with too many conveniences and resources. And now, it was time to reclaim all of them. Subsequently, I issued a direct command to Reed Holdings International Headquarters, notify all partners to suspend all collaboration projects with Davies Corporation, citing technical adjustments as the reason. Yes, Ms. Reed. The other party responded promptly and efficiently, without asking a single question, showing absolute obedience to my command. This was Reed Holdings' usual modus operandi. Next were the core technical teams that Reed Holdings had invested in Davies Corporation. I instructed the HR department to reassign all these talents back to Reed Holdings with double salaries. This series of actions caught my father's attention, and his call came quickly. The moment I answered, I got straight to the point. Dad, I've decided to divorce Liam Davies. There was a moment of silence on the other end, then my father's voice came through. Have you thought it through? Very clearly. All right then, I won't ask for the reasons. Your mother and I both trust you and support your decision. Once you've decided, don't hesitate. The Reed family never procrastinates. Within 2 days, I quietly withdrew everything. Funds in my personal account were also progressively transferred, ensuring Liam Davies could no longer access them. And he remained completely oblivious to all of this. During these 2 days, Evelyn Miller's social media account was very active, daily posting photos of her accompanying Liam Davies to business events. Her new car, new watch, new office, with captions always saying, "Thank you for Mr. Davies's guidance." I only glanced at her posts and the first day before blocking her. Such trash wasn't worth another look from me. Then I dedicated all my energy to preparing for my new company. The phone suddenly rang. The caller ID showed Liam Davies. Sarah Reed, Dad's birthday is today. He wants us back at the family estate. If you don't want to go, I'll go alone. His voice was cold and distant. I glanced at the divorce agreement already prepared on the table, a slight curve forming on my lips. I'll be there. It was time to lay everything out and put an end to this. At 7 in the evening, I slowly drove my Maybach into the gates of the Davies family estate. The courtyard was brightly lit, and faint sounds of laughter and chatter could be heard. Richard Davies, Eleanor Davies, and several relatives were standing at the entrance to greet guests. When they saw me get out of the car alone, a hint of surprise flashed across their faces. "Sarah, dear, where's Liam?" It wasn't surprising they were astonished. In 5 years of marriage, this was the first time we hadn't arrived together. He said he'd arrive later. Everyone warmly welcomed me inside, and the butler personally served me a cup of green tea. I sat on the sofa, took the teacup, and calmly took a sip. Half an hour later, the main door opened again, and Liam Davies finally arrived, belatedly. To everyone's surprise, Evelyn Miller walked in right behind him. Richard Davies realized something was amiss. His face instantly darkened, a flicker of anger in his eyes. "Liam, today is a family dinner. Why did you bring an outsider?" "Dad, Evelyn Miller is my chief executive assistant. We just finished business, so I brought her along. This is a family dinner. How can you mix it with company affairs?" Richard Davies's voice rose slightly. "Send her home." Evelyn Miller's face changed, and she looked at Liam Davies with a wronged expression. This tactic was clearly effective on Liam Davies. He immediately spoke up in her defense. "Dad, Evelyn Miller is my capable assistant. She's been busy all day and hasn't even eaten. Just let her stay." Seeing his son being so insensible, Richard Davies grew even angrier. "No matter how busy Sarah is, has she ever brought her assistant to a family dinner? This is a family dinner, not a business event for your company. Butler, see her out." Richard Davies commanded. The butler was in a dilemma, looking at the conflict among the main family members, unsure how to act. Evelyn Miller stood behind Liam Davies, her eyes frequently darting to me, a subtle hint of provocation on her lips. This farce made me completely lose my patience. "No need." I coldly interrupted their argument, took a document from the inside pocket of my blazer, and spread it out before everyone. "I came today precisely for this." Upon seeing the words, "divorce agreement" prominently displayed on the document's cover, the entire room fell silent. Liam Davies's face instantly turned pale, and his briefcase slipped from his hand, hitting the floor with a muffled thud. He questioned me with a trembling voice. "Sarah Reed, you want to divorce me? Are you insane?" My gaze shifted from Liam Davies to Evelyn Miller's face, then back to him. I am very sober, more sober than ever. Richard Davies and Eleanor Davies quickly stepped forward, trying to mediate. Sarah, dear, let's talk through any misunderstanding slowly. Don't be impulsive about something like this. No need to say more. I've already decided, I won't sign it. Liam Davies suddenly shouted, his eyes red. Just because I made Evelyn Miller chief executive assistant, you want to divorce me? Liam Davies, you know exactly why. You know it in your heart. I stared into his eyes, enunciating each word. I warned you, and I gave you a chance. I, Sarah Reed, never give anyone a second chance. I already broke my rules for you, but you disrespected my generosity, since you're willing to step all over me for a mistress. Don't blame me for being merciless. The scene erupted in an uproar, and Liam Davies still refused to sign. Eleanor Davies grabbed my arm, her voice pleading. Sarah, calm down. Let's discuss this slowly. Don't be impulsive. I politely but firmly pulled away. Mrs. Davies Sr., I have made my decision, and there is no room for reconsideration. Liam Davies, you can choose not to sign, but then we will meet in court. With that, I turned and strode out, leaving behind a chaotic family dinner. I stood by the floor-to-ceiling windows, looking out over the city, feeling lighter than ever before. Mark Johnson walked into the office, holding a new report. Ms. Reed, today another 30 core employees from Davies Corporation submitted job applications, he said, his voice brimming with poorly concealed excitement. So far, we've successfully poached 100 core technical team members from Davies Corporation. Davies Corp's stock price hit its limit down today at market open. This is the 5th consecutive trading day it has done so. Additionally, several of their key projects have been forcibly terminated due to talent drain. There are already rumors in the market that Davies Corporation is on the verge of bankruptcy. I nodded slightly. All of this was within my expectations. Without Reed Holdings' support and without its core technical team, Davies Corporation was like a fish out of water, struggling to its death. Oh, and Ms. Reed, there's some interesting news, Mark Johnson said, a smile fighting its way onto his lips. Apparently, Evelyn Miller made some grand pronouncements at a Davies Corporation executive meeting, suggesting the company transform to focus on the tech sector. The project completely failed shortly after it launched. Now Davies Corp's internal structure is in utter chaos. I sneered. A humanities major daring to guide a technical team? Truly delusional about her own capabilities. This was the expected outcome. Evelyn Miller was nothing more than a superficially polished shell, without real talent or business acumen. Liam Davies was so infatuated that he would entrust crucial company decisions to such a person. The screen of my phone on the desk lit up. It was another call from Liam Davies. This was the 15th missed call of the day. I immediately blacklisted him. I had no interest in hearing his explanations or apologies, nor was I interested in knowing how he was doing now. Reportedly, after Davies Corp's stock price continued to fall and multiple projects became paralyzed, he finally came to his senses and fired Evelyn Miller. But it was too late. Davies Corp's vitality was severely damaged, and its market value had evaporated by nearly half. In the afternoon, the security guard called. Ms. Reed, Mr. Liam Davies is in the lobby and insists on seeing you. I'm not easily liable. He says he won't leave until he sees you, the security guard said, sounding troubled. Then let him stand there. Arrange for someone to keep an eye on him and ensure he doesn't cause trouble. I hung up the phone and continued to focus on my work. Didn't he understand? Everything was over. That night, my assistant sent a message saying that Liam Davies had stood at the company entrance for 2 hours and was eventually forcibly escorted away by security. The next day, the security guard's phone rang again. This time, the visitor was Richard Davies. I thought for a moment, then nodded, instructing my assistant to invite him up. After all these years, Richard Davies and Eleanor Davies had always treated me well. Richard Davies's eyes were bloodshot, and he looked visibly haggard. He got straight to the point as soon as he entered. Sarah, dear, I know Liam made a mistake, but he has realized his error. Could you give him another chance? Richard Davies's voice was pleading, his eyes full of hope. Mr. Davies Sr., I respect you, but this matter is irreversible, I said calmly. I know Liam made a mistake, but he has realized his error, and I hope you can, considering our past as husband and wife. I interrupted him. Mr. Davies Sr., you understand that some mistakes, once made, have no turning back. Evelyn Miller has already been fired by him. He deeply regrets it now. It's not just about firing Evelyn Miller. Liam Davies not only disrespected me, but he also betrayed our relationship. I don't tolerate any deceit, and there's no longer any possibility between us. If he still refuses to sign the divorce agreement, I will continue to suppress Davies Corporation until it is completely bankrupt. Richard Davies's face became very grim. I understand. I will persuade him to sign. I will raise the child, and the Davies family is welcome to visit any time. Although I felt a pang of sympathy for the elderly man, I would not compromise my principles. Nor did I wish to remain entangled with Liam Davies. Richard Davies sighed, nodded, and walked towards the door with a stoop in his back. 3 days later, the signed divorce agreement was delivered to my desk. As night fell, I finished the last document and prepared to leave the company. Walking out of the building, a disheveled figure crashed into my view. Evelyn Miller was being held between 2 security guards, her clothes disarrayed, her hair messy. Seeing me appear, she struggled even more violently, almost breaking free from the security guard's grip. "Sarah Reed, this is all you're doing. You've ruined my career. Ruined everything." I maintained a safe distance, scrutinizing her from above. "Ms. Miller, you seem to have misunderstood something. You were fired because you lack competence. Your so-called strategies were just recycled garbage copied from the internet, full of holes." Evelyn Miller's face alternated between green and white, the anger in her eyes intensified by my words. I continued, "You only became Davies Corp's chief executive assistant by exploiting Liam Davies's sympathy and playing the victim to gain compassion. You're nothing but a talentless schemer, a manipulative opportunist who flatters men to climb the ladder. That's your true nature. You deceived superiors and subordinates in the company, stole, and extorted. No one dared to speak up because you hid behind Liam Davies, exploiting his trust and protection, didn't you? What do you think you are to me? Nothing but a talentless mistress who gets ahead by playing the victim and leveraging her looks to advance. People like you are beneath contempt." Evelyn Miller's face instantly turned ashen. Clearly, I had struck a nerve. She suddenly struggled free from the security guards and lunged at me. "Shut up. I'm going to kill you." I remained motionless. Just as she was about to pounce on me, the security guards quickly restrained her on the ground. I walked up to her, stepping on her hand, and said, "Evelyn Miller, if you dare to appear before me again, don't blame me for being merciless. If I wanted to destroy you, it would be easier than crushing an ant. You'd better pray you never see me again." Evelyn Miller completely broke down, screaming hysterically, "Sarah Reed, you'll die a horrible death. I'll get you." The security guards immediately covered her mouth and dragged her away. And that very night, an anonymous account online exposed embarrassing photos of Evelyn Miller working at a private club. In the photos, she looked fawning, drinking and socializing with several older wealthy businessmen. Subsequently, surveillance footage of her stealing merchandise, and chat logs from her university days about defrauding her boyfriend of money, were all exposed. I hadn't instructed anyone to do this, but there were far too many people eager to curry favor with me. Those who yearned for Reed Holdings' approval did these things on their own initiative. Richard Davies used his influence to blacklist Evelyn Miller in the industry, leaving her no place to stand. Ultimately, Evelyn Miller could only return to her previous private club and resume her old profession. As for me, within half a year of my divorce, I signed 3 major contracts consecutively, my company's stock price doubled, and my career flourished. Business Weekly even named me Entrepreneur of the Year. Liam Davies, with Richard Davies's help, began to reorganize Davies Corporation, embarking on a long road to corporate recovery. He occasionally appeared in business news, the sharp edge in his eyes softened considerably, replaced by a touch of weariness. 3 years passed in the blink of an eye. My company had become a leader in its industry, and my image as a single female CEO made me a sought-after target for many eligible men. But my heart remained focused on my career and my son, Leo, and I hadn't considered any romantic relationships. Leo was now 4 years old, smart and lively, and his smiling face looked very much like mine. After the divorce, I dedicated most of my time to him, personally dropping him off and picking him up from preschool every day. My office had a special corner dedicated to Leo, filled with his toys and drawings, so he could visit anytime. "Mommy, when is Dad coming to see me?" Leo suddenly looked up and asked me, his eyes full of anticipation. I checked my phone's calendar. "It's your birthday the day after tomorrow. Dad should bring a gift." According to the divorce agreement, Liam Davies could visit his son twice a month, each visit not exceeding 3 hours. For 3 years, he had never missed a single visit. Even when busy, he would arrive promptly at the agreed-upon location, bringing carefully chosen gifts, doing his best to compensate for his shortcomings. Despite harboring resentment towards Liam Davies, for the sake of my child's healthy development, I never prevented my son from contacting him. Over the past 3 years, Davies Corporation gradually regained its footing thanks to Liam Davies's efforts. While it wasn't as large as it once was, it maintained solid operations. We would occasionally run into each other at business events, exchanging nods and nothing more. On my son's 4th birthday, I hosted a small party at home, inviting his friends and the nanny. In the afternoon, the doorbell rang. I opened the door to see Liam Davies standing outside, holding a huge gift box. A birthday gift. I took the gift and nodded. In 3 hours, I'll be back on time. Liam Davies nodded, watching me leave with a wistful look in his eyes. Over those 3 years, he had repeatedly hinted in various ways that he wanted to reconcile. He would, at business events, deliberately mention the good times we once shared. He would linger a few minutes longer after Leo left, trying to find topics to extend our conversation. He even asked mutual friends to relay messages, saying he still loved me and wanted to start over. But I rejected all these attempts in various ways. Some things, once broken, can never be put back together. My current life is successful with my career, my son is healthy and happy, and I enjoy life to the fullest. Compared to that past marriage, I live with much more freedom and ease. Thank you for watching today's story. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and share it with your friends. We look forward to hearing your thoughts in the comments. Feel free to share your perspectives, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more exciting stories. See you next time.